guys, it's April. I had planned to do this flower with you guys live, but because of the length of time it takes to do this, I decided to do a recorded video. I also decided to do it recorded because Chandler Tools sent me really pretty nice glue gun, it appears to be, and a heat tool, and I'm doing an epoxy cup, and I'm going to feature their tool in that one as well. And I wanted a project where I could use the glue gun and see how it works, if it's a good quality, etc. It appears to be. I have used the heat gun and started filming that, and I really do like it. So I wanted to try their glue gun. But before I get into the glue gun part, I have to make all of my petals. And I wanted you guys to see how I do the petals for this flower. Now, I just made this file, so I may have to take some petals away or add some more somewhere else. So don't pay attention to the number of petals. That's not written in stone. But what I'm doing is I'm using the same solution of mix, 7 ounces of water, 1 ounce of alcohol, 70% or 91, it doesn't matter, and 2 drops of Dawn or baby shampoo, just so it doesn't dry out too fast. And I'm dampening my paper because a lot of you don't have makers and you want to make the flowers, and I did one of these in cray paper, but this is cardstock. This is 65 pound, I'm sorry, cardstock from Michaels. It's the solid core in the sheets. Let me grab you the thing so you will know what you need to get started to making your flowers. Here is I did the shades of red, and I'm using this dark color out of that. Right now it's on sale for $3.33. They put it on sale all the time, so if it's not on sale, not a big deal. You can get it. If it's not on sale, it's like $6, so it's not bad. And you'll need some baby wipes, of course, to keep your hands clean, because the paper fibers and the glue, they're going to stick to you. But all I've done is I've dampened my leaf, or petal I should say, and I'm using an awl. If you don't have one of these, you can use toothpicks, you can use a bamboo skewer, whatever you need. And you can use larger and smaller, because we do have some larger petals to do, and I'm going to show you with one of those as well. But we're just rolling it around there, and then we're bunching it up. I'm going to show you with a bigger one so that you can see a little bit better. I'm just trying to get these done so that they can dry up. I put a little dab of glue on there after I do that, and I'm going to roll it and pinch it, because this one is small. I'm using my awl to do that with, so that I can keep it pinched up. And I'm just setting my petals to the side to dry. They'll dry fairly quickly. If you get your petals too wet, they may separate, like I did this one. I got it a little too wet, but it's okay. I'm still going to use it. It'll just look like a double petal. And I forgot to scrunch that one. I do that frequently. Have to roll it back up. And let me do a big one so that you can see it. And then I'm going to break and finish doing all of the petals this way. All of them, no matter what size they are in the file, are done this way. I'm not worrying about rolling these back or anything on these. I'm letting them dry just a little bit more before I play with them. So let's take a good sized one, and I'm just going to spray it, mist it. It's going to jump and start to curl, and then I'm just going to lightly mist the other side. So it's damp. It's not saturated, but it's damp. And then I'm just going to take it and start at the tip and roll it around. You're just going to roll it all the way down. And then you're going to take and put your finger on one end and on the other. And I don't do the absolute end, just so I have room to play with it. And I'm just pushing it together. just like that, just scrunching it. That's it. Then I'm just going to pull it off. And you see how it puts those wrinkles in the petal and makes it look real. And you can use this technique, guys, with rose petals, anything that you're doing. And then I'm just rolling this for, I'm calling this a dahlia. You can call, their dahlias come in all different shapes and sizes and types. So that's what I'm calling this one because of the way it goes together. And then I'm just rolling this, and you can use a larger portion for this one. I just want to get it a good fold over, basically, down at the bottom. Just getting a fold. Let's see if I can get that in there so you can see it. Just folding that over and then bringing this over. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here. And I'm using art glitter glue for this part. Excuse me. And we'll be using hot glue to assemble. So now I've got a little tube there. And then you're just going to let that dry. And I'm going to set that to the side because it's a different size than these. This one is nearly dry. Once you've got it dry, you're just going to bend that back, just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish doing mine, and then we'll come back and put them together. You're going to need a styrofoam ball, and this is the smooth foam. You don't want the rough stuff. This one is a 1.4 inch. So let me finish doing my petals. We'll come back and we'll assemble using the new Chandler glue gun. So I decided I was going to go ahead and maybe start this flower just so you guys could see part of it going together. So I'm heating up my glue gun, and I'm really liking the fact that this thing stands up by itself, guys. This is awesome. Cool little feature. You do have to put your front clip on, so just so you know that, you'll have to snap it on. It was very easy to do. And we're going to let that heat up, and I'll be right back. Okay, my glue gun is heated up. I thought I'd let you guys see me roll a couple more of these. It is a little time consuming for flowers like this, but you get a more realistic look. I love the rolled flowers too. They're easy, but they just don't turn out as nice as the single petal flowers. And of course, with reason, it's a lot more work goes into them to create the entire flower. And I'm just making little tubes out of these. That's basically all you're doing, making little tubes. You can make them as tight or as open as you want them. Totally up to you. And I think my glue gun is heated up. It is. And wow, not even a drip yet. Gotta clean that up. Wanted to feed it through. I love that it stands up, and it appears that the stand is detachable. So if you don't want the stand, you don't have to use it. How cool is that? Now I've taken this foam ball, and all I've done was just slice off enough of the bottom of it so that it will sit and not roll around on me. Okay, and that's all there is to that. I'm just going to take a little bit of the glue, and I'm just going to squirt some out here on my table, and I'm just going to dip. And I know that might be wasting a little bit of glue, but we won't be doing that for all of them. Just for these tiny petals, we need to get those in the center. And I like that the glue gun came with some glue. I'm just bringing these petals up. I'm just doing maybe 4 or 6 in the center to get them to stick together. My glue's starting to dry there, or harden, I should say. Putting about 4 of these in there. I'm just going to get rid of my glue hairs. Let's see. These are not quite dried yet. I love the color of it too. Pink. So I'm just placing 4 of those in there. That one needs to open up just a tiny bit more. but it's okay if it's not because it's the center. There we go. So now I have those 4, and I'm just going to continue building around. And you want them in pretty tight. We don't want to see, I've got some glue hairs there. And I'm going to go in between the 2 petals from the previous. So you'll want to keep up with where you're at. On these, I don't bend that back. Man, I love that that glue gun is just standing there. We're just going to keep working these petals into the center. It's a little more glue than I wanted. Maybe I can get some on there. There we go. Do 2 at a time. I'm just going to use my tool, kind of push those in. We're building around the center. Just kind of trying to make all of those meet up. Nice and tight in there. Do these. I'm doing mine with the open end of the petal out on this row. If you want to do yours with it going the opposite direction, if you want to flip them around so that the open is to the inside, you can do that. Then we're going to take our next size up, which are the ones I'm working on here, and now I'm just going to kind of fold it back just a tiny bit, and I am going to go in there with them open to the center. The open part of the cone is going to the center. So I'm just going to get some glue on that where it's folded back, and we're going to start working our way around just like so. Again, you're going to take your tool and just bend back to get that little leg on there. Love the glue gun. And we're going to work our way around. And if you leave a gap, that's okay. We're going to come in and tuck in here after. We're just going to push that in tight. You have tons of petals coming, so make sure you get these in there tight. I'm just going to, again, fold that back. Put the open part of the cone to the inside. Just kind of strategically placing some of these so that I know that I'm going to come back in here, here, all the way around, and then do my second layer around if I have more petals of this size. So let me finish making my petals. We'll come back and finish assembly. guys, I am back, and I finally got all of my petals done so that I could go on and put them on. And I am just going to continue going through and placing these flower petals strategically throughout, in between the petals from the last layer. And you'll want to use your tool and not your finger because it can get kind of warm. And press those in. So I'm just going to show you a few more, and then I'm just going to continue adding. I have all of my sizes, they're all done, and I'm just going to graduate until I get to the end. I will come back and show you how I do that last layer, so make sure that you come back and you look at that before you proceed on to the very last layer, because it's slightly different. As you start, because I forgot to mention this, as you start putting these layers on, these layers are going to start drooping down, and they are supposed to. And this is what I mean. When you go to put these on, some of these are going to start to droop downward towards the bottom of the ball, and they are supposed to do that. You need to get them in there tight because you want the ball covered. I lost my place. And then you're going to place them in, and when you're tucking that folded area, you can see how that petal begins to droop downward, and that's what's going to help us create and cover the ball. So I just wanted to show you that, and your petal should start drooping downwards when you're at this point, so don't worry about that if it happens. It's supposed to. Okay, and so here we are, we're putting on our next to the last size petal. And I'm just going around in the same manner. And you can see when I tuck that in how that's drooping down perfectly fine. It's what you want. Guys, I really like the glue gun, so I am going to leave a link down below if you want to get one of these. I love how it stands up. It's so easy for me to work with. All I have to do is just leave it standing on the table, pull the trigger, and you can see it's just been super easy to use. Instead of flopping down on the table all the time and having to pick it up, it won't stay standing up, or that's the experience I've had with my others. And we're just going to keep walking around and letting those start to droop around. And don't worry if you don't have enough droop, we can dampen it after we're done and kind of shape it down a little bit. Just going to keep adding our petals. And I just look at mine at this point because it's kind of hard to see where you're in between the other petal was. And so I just kind of tuck those in. And we can spread these out more later as well. Open them up. Kind of liking how this looks, though, just like it is. Okay, guys, I'm putting on my last layer. However, this ball is a little too large for what I had planned. And again, this is my test file. So I am going to take scissors and I am going to cut part of this off. And hopefully that will work. Because I really want this last layer to be here. If you can see that. Now you have several options. You can cut more of the bigger layer and layer them in, and I'm going to say it's going to take maybe about 15, maybe 18 more. And you can layer them in between, but you can see where it's not going to fill because this last layer needs to actually be on the bottom of the ball, just like this. So I don't have enough to fill in. Now you can do more petals and keep going until you get to this point, so that when these are all glued down, they are down around the base and you have like a small hole in here. but you just want them all tilted down. So I am basically just going to make this ball. I may have to cut it differently. Just going to trim off, or try to trim off, so I don't have so much to fill, because my flower is about the size that I want it, and I don't want to keep getting bigger with it. So there we go. Just going to take that out, and it's not completely flat. Knocked one of my petals loose. Where did that go? Because it's smaller. There it is. I just don't want it to be too thick. I'm just going to trim this up a little bit. So you can trim more off the ball before you start if you want. And I'm going to say almost nearly in half. So my next one, I'm just going to cut that ball in half instead of just taking off that little layer. I'm just going to cut it in half. And it should be fine. So you can either do that, or like I said, you can do more petals. So I'm chosen to cut mine. And let's see, just going to stick him back in there where I think he was. You can see how they're starting to tilt down, and that's what we want. Want them to go inward or downward. Looking at it from this point would be upward. So now we're going to put all of these last two layers on. And I'm just kind of basically going around this base. And let them fall where they may. And mine are still a little damp. They're a lot easier to work with if they're dry, guys. But I am really, really, really pressed for time here. So I am... Oops. I keep pulling that one off. And I don't know why. It may be because it's damp. I'm going to stick him back in there. There we go. And of course you're going to have to clean up all your little glue hairs. I'm just kind of sticking my finger in, and while my paper is still damp, and if yours isn't damp, don't worry. You can dampen it up if they're not wide enough. But as they're drying, you can go in and stick your finger in and just widen them up a little bit, because they're going to start to stiffen. They're not going to lose their shape and stuff. So you can just spread them out just a little bit more. paper flowers is like handwriting. It depends on how you assemble, how you roll your flowers, how you make and shape your petals, as to how full yours will be and how many it's going to take. What's in the file is just a base, and you will know if you don't feel like you're getting enough. Add to that bottom layer. That's where you want to add it. All of this will work itself out, but you'll want to add that bottom layer. You could probably get away with the bottom 2 layers if you want to really beef it up. You could do that. So now what we're going to do is on our bend right here, that bend is going to sit right on top of the base of the ball, okay? And we'll bend our flowers down if we have to in just a few after we finish. And I am going to try to go in between the last layer. So in between these two, that's where you want to, that's what you want to aim for. Okay guys, I made some more petals and I'm impatient. I'm waiting on them to dry. So I thought, why not use my Chandler heat gun? Even though I have a video coming showing me using that with an epoxy cup, why not try to use it to dry my flowers? So, of course, heat guns get hot. So I'm just going to hold with some tweezers and use my heat gun and get this paper a little bit drier. It has a high and low setting on this heat gun, guys, and I'm just drying it out a little bit. Can put it on high. You can use this tool for your embossing. You can use it for drying your flowers like I am. And let's just watch this one, the shade change as it dries. You can see that paper changing color right here. Drying them pretty quick too. Look at that. And I mean, a couple of these I accidentally oversprayed is what I did. And they got really wet. Awesome deal. Quick, easy way to dry your petals. I'm probably going to run it over on the finished one just for a second. You don't want to overheat your flower that you did because you'll melt your hot glue. But you can just get some of the dampness out of it if you're having that issue. But usually most people are not in a rush like I am, and you're just going to make all your petals up and let them dry, and then you're just going to take 15 minutes and assemble. Because the time comes in making your petals. That's where all the time is involved. This one has taken me about an hour and a half. So you can make your petals up one day and then dry them like this, quick, and put it together. super easy, super simple. I just found a new use for my heat gun. Yay! And because we use wet glue instead of hot glue on the petals, we can do that. Knocking things over now. Oh, I already dried that one. So now I have those dried. I am going to set my heat gun off to the side. I'm loving my Chandler tools, guys. Loving them. Thank you, Chandler, for sending those to me. I greatly appreciate it. And I will provide the link below for you guys so that you can grab one up yourself. So I'm just going to go through, and any place that I see, like right there, I don't like that gap, I'm going to fill it in. That's what I'm going to do. So I've added so far 6 extra petals. I did cut more. I just cut another sheet of the large ones, which were 6. Let's see, there's 4, 8, 12, 16 on a page. So I cut another page of 16. Try not to stick it into your other papers. Just going to fold that back and stick that in there. If you do happen to get it on your other one, just let it dry and then you can pick it off with your tweezers. It'll be okay. I'm going to open that one up a little bit, just stick that just like that. Nice and easy. Go on my tweezers and get those glue hairs. So I'm just going to say go ahead and cut yours ahead of time. That way you don't have to worry about filling in like I am. There's one more spot there. I'm just going to pull that back. Tuck him right in there. Any little holes that you may have or places that you feel need a little extra filling in, that's what we're doing. Isn't it pretty? Now we need to do the leaves and the inside. We need to finish that, okay? So let's get in there and do that really quick. Okay, so I have, I'm using an 18 gauge wire. It might be overkill, but I'm just doing it. And all I'm doing is putting a little loop in my wire here. Just like so. Just putting a little loop there. If you guys can see that. That's all I did. Because I'm going to be sticking that here on my flower once I get this portion finished. So, just going to take some floral tape, and I may have some cotton ball fuzz on mine. If I do, guys, don't worry about it. Yours probably doesn't. And I am just going to wrap my wire. And I'm stretching this floral tape as I wind. Just to have, it's got a wax on it, a sticky wax. And that's probably more than I'm gonna need, but I'm just gonna wind out that tape to the bottom. Yep, there's some cotton ball fuzz on there. My cotton balls that I keep for flower making and my thing got all over the edge of my tape and it's stuck. They fell out of their bag. So now I have that on there. I am going to take my leaves, and that's these with the split ends right here. They should be split anyway. They're not, just snip them. Just to make sure it's cut all the way through. I'll move that score line for you guys so that you won't have to worry about that. And we're going to mist these as well. But I'm going to try to stay away from the stem part. So I'm just going to hold these actually so that I can keep the stem from getting misted. And I'm just going to mist it off camera there. I think my mister is misting too heavy now. I'm just going to roll it. And the formula that I use on here, I don't know if I told you guys, it's the same thing I use for my wet vinyl to apply my vinyl wet. And we're just scooching them up just like we did the flower petals. Okay? Just smush it up. And if you want to do some more curl on it, or you want it to be curled in a certain way, you can do that and just let it dry. You can see, put any kind of shapes that you want on there. And then just gonna go down here and look. I may have not gotten my tape up high enough. Just gonna put another little piece at the top. There we go. Because I want these pieces to be right here, but I want to put them on the stem. You don't have to. I guess you could hot glue them on there as well. Okay guys, I'm sorry. I may have lost some of my video there. I had a phone call come in. But I just, I made my leaves just like I did my petals. I dampened them, I rolled them, and then I squished them just like we did on the flower petals. And I've got my stem wrapped with the floral with the floral tape. And I'm just going to put just a tiny bead of glue right there on that, close to the end. And then I am going to begin right there where the split is on these flowers, you can bend that split back like so. I'm just going to set that in there. Doesn't matter where the first one ends or starts or ends or whatever, it'll be fine. And I'm just going to kind of twist those ends shut. Doesn't really matter. Just want them to stick. I may have to give another little bead of glue. Ow, not on my finger. And then I'm just gonna press that piece in. Just want it to take hold. Sometimes it's easier just to bring it all the way down. Maybe that will be it. I'll take that off. You could maybe use wet glue here too. But I'm trying to cover the, let's just put a bead of glue there. How about that? And I'm just going to stick that one on there, just like so. Because this is going to be in the flowers, so we want the curl to be down towards us. So I can put it right on top. Not going to hurt anything. And then I'm just going to kind of stagger them. You can bring that in, cross them over. Probably your wet glue is going to be better for that. Unclogged. There we go. It came out all right. There we go. Just going to kind of cross them over. That's going to give them a little bit of a cup down here at the base. I thought I could do it with the hot glue on there, but it's liking this wet glue better for this. So we're just going to cross those pieces over. Get that cup on there. The more you cross it, the more cup you're going to get. So I did that one. That one's attached. Last one. And that's why I was telling you, put a hole there in case you're using a smaller stem, whatever you're using. I chose to do mine this way, so to make it easier for me. But you can do yours the way that you want. I just find this super easy. I'm just going to put some glue, some hot glue down in there, and then I'm just going to hold this until it sits. Get it to set really good. Let that glue cool down and hold. I'm not putting pressure, I'm not mashing down, I'm just holding it there so that it sits level. Don't want it to pull loose once I let go of it. If the glue is still hot, then it won't settle in right. Let it get good and cool. Okay. And then I'm just going to, I think it's going to be easier for me just to put some more glue on there and then work my leaves in the way that I want them. Didn't want to do. There we go. Just letting those little tails stick up around the edge of that stem. right around here. Put that extra leaf on there, I mean that extra petal on there, and it is now kind of in my way, but that's okay. I'm gonna live with it. I thought I had 6 of these, but now I only see 5. Okay, there we go. I guess I only did 5. Maybe I only did 5. I thought I did 6. 5 looks good. How pretty is this, guys? Oh, there's number 6. I think I'm good with 5. I don't think I want 6 in there. I'm gonna leave mine at 5. You can put that 6th one in there if you want. Totally up to you. So now we have that. Now we need to do our leaves. And the leaves, let's roll this one up too, without doing the flower tool. I was going to cup these, but I think I like this better. Oh yeah. Let's just try that. Oh yeah, I'm going to do away with that. I like that better. So I'm going to take, I've got several in the file. You may like more than I do. I'm just going to do 3 or 4 leaves, I think. In the same method I did the petals. Squish them. Unroll it. Let it dry in various shapes. Oh, I didn't scrunch him. No wonder he didn't look right. I'm loving these. Maybe another medium. Okay, guys. I'm going to dry those and then we'll be back. Okay, guys, I have here just a little 26 gauge wire, and I'm snipping a piece about 4 inches long of that 26 gauge, and I'm just going to start, just going to kind of put like a Z fold in this big leaf, like just like that, just kind of a Z fold. And I'm going to do a little dab of glue right down in that fold and pop that wire in there and mash that on, just like that. Okay? Then I'm just going to Z fold just a tiny area down here on this one. And that's all I've done. It's just a little Z fold, just a little pinch in it. Right down there and pinch it on. Just gonna kind of bend the wire a little bit so that my leaves separate, okay? But it's still hidden in there, not gonna be seen. And then I'm just gonna bring this little guy in, maybe just a little bit lower. So let's Z fold that, give it a pinch. going to, I think, bring it on this side. And just kind of work him right in there. Just going to turn it around, and I am bending my wire. Just like that. And then I'm going to take this second one, or this other one that I have. I'm just going to pinch it, put a little Z-fold in there by pinching it. And I am going to place it towards this back. I need it to curl the other way. I pinched it the wrong way. Just to cover where I did these. And then I'm going to hot glue that down. And you can do yours any way you want. This is probably not, there's probably tons of florists out there saying, don't do that, don't do that. But that's the way I want to do mine. And then I'm just going to take another piece of the floral tape. And I don't know, I got a piece that's about 10 inches, which is probably more than enough. And now I'm just going to wrap. Just wrapping it around, stretching as I wrap. All the way to the end of that wire. Oops, I got off my line there. There we go. Quick repair of my tear in my tape. Just went over it again. Just going to take that down to the end. Just like so. And then I'm going to bring it in here on this wire. I think I'm going to bend the head of my wire too. I want to bring it down right about there. That looks good to me. And you can reshape your wire when you're done if you want. You can wait until you've got this on there to bend it as well. And I'm just going to wrap that tape and wrap those two pieces together. My tape slid up at the top here, which I figured it would. I'm just going to grab another piece. I knew when I tore that tape that it wasn't going to hold. Just make sure you get yours on there good. There we go. Repaired. And then I'm just going to pop those down. And I'm going to cut off my wire, but I need to cut my wire. My tape doesn't want to stay. There we go. I'm going to put it in this bottle, so I need to cut it where it's supported, but it's in there. I'm going to say about an inch. I'm just going to take off an inch at a time. I don't want to get it too short. That's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I'm in love with it. Love. Guys, this thing is gorgeous. Look at that. My camera's a little tall. I will take some still photos of it in there. But how pretty is that? I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I'm just going to lay it down so you guys can get a photo of it. And I'll show you some still photos as well. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Please give a thumbs up and a like. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I will catch you on the next video.